Exception handling. It's very important topic. Let us see first one. 10 by 0. It rises one abnormal condition. It rises one abnormal condition. Because of the abnormal condition, an error object is rising. Error object is rising. Nobody is there to handle that error object. Flow will be terminating. You are getting only one. You are not getting two. You are not getting two. 0 division error. Because of abnormal condition, one error object is rising. Nobody is there to handle. Whenever error object, exception object rising, that should be handled somehow. If it is getting handled, flow will continue. If it is getting handled, flow will continue. Otherwise, it terminates like this. 0 division error because of 10 by 0. Nobody is there to handle 0 division error. That is why flow terminating without 2. Without 2. Observe, first print 1. Then there is an abnormal condition. For that 0 division error is rising. Somebody has to handle. There is no try catch here. So nobody is handling. That is why flow is terminating without print 2. We are not getting print 2. Remember 10 by 0 rising 0 division error. Come to the test 2. It is also one the same. So here there is an abnormal condition converting alphabets into numeric type. Converting ABC into numeric type. Converting ABC into the numeric type. Converting ABC into the numeric type. Converting ABC into the numeric type. It is not possible. Again, you will be getting abnormal condition, error object rising, nobody is there to handle, flow terminating without 2. So the here error type is value error. The error type is value error. While converting ABC into int type, while converting ABC into float type, abnormal condition, nobody is there to handle, flow terminating. Value error while converting ABC into numeric. Value error while converting ABC into numeric. Come to the test 3. List containing totally 3 elements. Indexes will be 0, 1 and 2. Indexes will be 0, 1 and 2. You had to go for index of 0 or 1 or 2, but you are referring index of 4, which is not available. You need to specify only the indexes which are available inside a list. List containing 3 elements. Indexes are 0, 1 and 2, but we are referring list of 4. Fourth index is not available. Fourth index is not available. You are getting again an error. Nobody is there to handle that error. Flow will be terminating. You will not be getting last print statement. So here you are getting an index error. We have seen zero division error. We have seen value error. We have seen index error. Please remember, for a particular type of abnormal condition, what is the error class using? In the console, while seeing the error class, you should come to know what went wrong inside our program. Index error means somewhere you specified an index which is not available in the list. If you are getting value error means somewhere you specified a statement which is unable to convert given content into numeric. Zero division error, something by 0. Come to the next one. So print 1, x is equal to 10, print 2, del x, then print 3, then print x. If you go for del x, x is completely removing from the memory itself. You cannot use x. X already removed. X already removed. Come on. X got removed. X got removed. X got removed. X is not available. X is not available. But we are using x. At line number 4, x is removed. At line number 6, x is using again. X is using again. What is the type of error you are getting? Name error. X is not available. You are using x after deleting the x. Totally x got removed from the memory. Totally x got removed from the memory. But you are using x after removing from the memory. You are getting a name error. Come to the 5. Initially, x is a hello, that is string type. X is a hello, that is string type. Print of x, print of 1, print of len of x. Len of x, that is identifying length of the x. Then x is equal to none. Now x is not pointing to hello. The reference whatever was there between x and hello, that reference has been removed. Come on. Then if you go for len of x is no more pointing to hello. X is no more pointing to hello, but we are using len of x. X is no more pointing to hello, we are using x. You will be getting abnormal condition, one error object. Nobody is there to handle that error object. Flow will be terminating. Object of type none has no len. You are getting a type error. You are getting type error. Object became a none type. Object became a none type as reference is assigned to none, has no len. You are getting type error. You are getting a type error. Come to the next one. Whatever abnormal conditions we have seen in the previous programs, those can be handled by a mechanism called try except. Try except. In other programming languages, you can find a try catch in Java or in JavaScript. Try and catch. But in Python, there is a try and except. Try except. Whatever abnormal condition statement is there, keep that statement in the body of the try. If at all it is raising any error object, same will be getting handled through except. Now here, 10 by 0 statement is in the body of the try. Whenever 10 by 0 rising, arithmetic error, 0 division error, same is getting handled through except. Once it is getting handled, flow will continue. Once it is getting handled, flow will continue. Print of 2. A simple syntax to handle raised errors, raised exceptions. A very simple syntax. Try except. Try except, a simple syntax. Try and accept. We'll see a lot of examples. You will come to know more information about try except. In this example, try containing 3 statements except. Try containing 3 statements. In the body of the try, print 2. In the body of the try, print 2. Then there is an error. Because of the error, it will straight away go to the except to handle. Print 3 will not be executing. Print 3 will not be executing even though you are handling error object through except. Even though you are handling error object through except, we are handling error object through except. Whatever statements are there in the try, After rising error object, those will not be executing. Inside a try, if any statement is there after error object, that will not be getting executed. We are not getting three. Whatever statements we are getting, whatever statements we are getting, after error object in the try, after error object in the try, those will not be executing. Whenever error object is rising, straight away looking to handle this error object through except. Whenever error object is rising, whenever error object is rising, straight away, looking to handle, by the except. Straight away flow is going to the except without print 3. Remember, inside a try, we cannot execute the statements which are after error. So, inside a try, all the statements cannot be guaranteed to execute. We don't know where error object is rising. Once error object is rising, remaining portion of the try not executing, straight away going to the except. Straight away going to the except. Straight away going to the except. This is very important. In the try, we cannot guarantee like all the statements executing in every flow. All the statements executing in every flow, that cannot be guaranteed. You may get error object at any statement in the try. Whenever you are getting error object at a particular statement in the try, it will straight away go to except without worrying about remaining statements. Come to the test 8. I is equal to 10 by 0. It is there before try. I is equal to 10 by 0. It is there before try. Now error is rising before try. If error is rising before try, then that error cannot be handled through except whichever provided for the same try. If at all error is rising before try, if at all error is rising before try, if at all error is rising before try, that cannot be handled with the catch whatever assigned to the try. Even though there is a perfect try catch, flow is not reaching to print 4. Even though perfect try catch, flow is not reaching to print 4. The reason is there is a error object before try. Except is only responsible to handle error objects which are occurring in the try. If error object is inside a try, if error object is inside a try, if error object is inside a try, then only If error object is inside a try, then only accept will be responsible to handle. Now error object is in outside a try. That is why flow will be terminating without handling error object. Whatever error object is rising, that should be handled somehow in order to continue the flow. In order to continue the flow, raised error object should be handled. Here raised error object is not handled. Raised error object is not handled. Flow is terminating. Come to the 9. In this program, I is equal to n by 0. It is not a part of except. After finishing try and except, there is a I is equal to 10 by 0. Error object rising here. For this error object, except is not responsible. For this error object, except is not responsible. For this error object, except is not responsible. Whatever statement I selected, that is not a part of try. Only errors which are rising from the try are handling through except. Now you'll be getting output as a 1, 2, 3. Inside a try, there is no error. Because of no error in the try, it won't go to the except. Because of no error in the try, except will not be executing. Line number 7 will execute. While executing line number 7, there is an error. Nobody is there to handle. Flow is terminating. If error object is rising, that should be handled somehow. If error object is rising, that should be handled somehow. Now error object rising after a catch. So this is very simple, guys. Inside a try, there is an error object going to accept. In the accept, once again, same type of error object. Flow is terminating at line number 8. Flow is terminating at line number 8. Remember, everybody, inside a try, there is a, come on. In the try, there is a abnormal condition. Without print 3 coming to the accept. Execute. What about this? Rising error. But it is not a part of try. It is a part of accept to another try. So, this cannot be handled. Self-accept cannot be. So, for line number 8, you require a accept. But line number 8 should be a part of the try. It is a part of the accept. This cannot be handled by self-accept. Flow will be terminating. Except is responsible to handle errors which are rising in the try. If error is rising in the try, if error is rising in the try, then only it can be handled. Then only it can be handled. But here, very unfortunately, at line number 8, there is a error object that is not a part of the try. That is not a part of the try. You can see here, during handling of the above exception, another exception occurred. While handling of the zero division error, we got another exception. We got another exception. Please remember, whatever error objects rising in the except, those not getting handled through the same self except, it required another try except. If another try except is there, definitely it can be handled. Some beginners are thinking like, errors of except body can be handled through same except. That is not correct. Except is responsible to handle error objects which are rising in the try. Error objects which are rising in the try. Inside an except body, you can keep any number of statements. Inside an except body, you can keep any number of statements. And by default, except is handling any type of error object. Except is handling any type of error object. Not only zero division error, you can also go for value error. You can also go for name error. You can also go for index error. This except is a generic. It is not specific to one type of error. It can handle any type of error, but that error should be raised in the body of the try. That error should be raised in the body of the try. In the body of the try, if any error object is rising, that can be handled through body of the except. Inside a try body, any error that can be handled. Now, except print 3, every statement is running. Except print 3. Except print 3, every statement is executing. Come to the next one. It is one and the same of previous without error statement. In the try body, no statement is rising error. In the try body, no statement is rising error. If no statement is rising error, except will not be executing. Except will not be executing. If try executed very successfully, then except will not be executing. Except is only for handling raised errors of try body. If errors are rising in the try body, those can be handled. Those can be handled in the except. Complete try. Come to the next one. This time in the try body, there is an index error. At line number 5, you'll get index error. We are referring index number 10, but list containing 3 elements with indexes 0, 1 and 2. List containing only 3 elements with 0, 1 and 2. You are referring index number 10. You are referring index number 10. You are referring index number 10. Because of index number 10. Please remember, except can handle any type of error object. You're not getting print 3. At line number 5, there is a index error. X is equal to 20. X is equal to 20 in the try body. Same X we are using in the except and also after except. We declared a variable inside a try. Same we are using in the except and even after except body. Let us see whether it will be giving any type of error or not. Generally, this type of syntax is not allowing in other programming languages. X is a local to try. It should be used within the try. X is a local to try. It should be used within the try. But we are able to use inside except even after except also. Except is not printing. Flow is not going to the except. But X is allowed to use in the except. Line number 9 is executing. You are getting X value 20. Remember, whatever variables are declaring in the body of the try, it's supposed to access only in the try. It should be allowed only in the try. It should be allowed only in the try. But it is allowed to access in outside a try also. You can access in the except. You can access after try and except. Whatever members are declared in the try, those are not local to the try. Those are allowed to access in outside a try as well. This is not possible in other programming languages. Inside a try, if any local variable is there, it's supposed to use in the body of the try only. It's supposed to use in the body of the try. It should not be allowed to use in outside. But Python is supporting to use variable of try in outside a try. We are able to use in the except and also in the print. Remember this as a special point related to Python. Come to the next one. After x is equal to 20, there is a y is equal to 10 by 0, 0 division error. It will go to the except. In the except, we are using x. Come on. There is a statement y is equal to 10 by 0. There is a statement y is equal to 10 by 0. There is a statement y is equal to 10 by 0. Because of y is equal to 10 by 0, rising error object, going into except, executing except, then executing remaining portion. It's straightforward. Executing x usage of except. Inside except, whatever x usage is there, that x usage is executing. So please observe. X is equal to 20 is available after y is equal to 10 by 0. X is equal to 20 available after y is equal to 10 by 0. Now check it out whether x is allowed to use or not at print statement. X is getting a definition at line number 5. But this line number 5 and 6 both are not executing. Line number 5 and 6 both are not executing. Line number 5 and 6 both are not executing. Line number 5 and 6 both are not executing. At line number 5 only X is getting a definition. Same X we are printing at line number 10. Let's see what happens. Name X is not defined. X is equal to 20. X is equal to 20. X is equal to 20. Not executed. X is equal to 20 is not executed. If X is equal to 20 is not executed, if X is equal to 20 not executed, how X can be visible? Even though there is a X in the try body, that statement is not executed, we are getting an error. Remember this point. Try members can be used in outside, but whatever member you defined in the try, that should be executed. Members of the try allowed to use in outside. But whatever member you are defining in the body of the try, that should be defined. The definition statement, the declaration statement should execute. Now inside a try body, line number 5 is not executing. At line number 4 itself, there is an error. Because of the error, going to the accept, then continuing. You are getting a name error here. I'm not finding what is this X. The X definition is available before error object. This statement producing a new error, name error. Come to the 17. Now X is defining in the accept. That accept is not going to execute. Why? Because try body is empty. Try body is empty. Sorry. Try body not rising error object. 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 It's going to the accept. Sorry, it's not going to the accept. It is not going to the accept. X is equal to 20 not executing. If X is equal to 20 not executing, whether line number 9, where X is using, whether it is possible or not. Getting same error. X is not defined. Exit definition statement available in the catch. Exit definition statement is available in the except. Unfortunately, that statement is not executing. Unfortunately, that statement is not executing. Except statement is not executing. Except statement is not executing. Except statement is not executing. X is not defined. So print I. Where is I definition? We didn't define I. You will be getting name error. Same name error is handling through except. Line number 4. Line number 4. Line number 4. Rising name error. As I is not defined anywhere. Name error. I is not defined anywhere. I is not defined anywhere. We are getting a name error. I is not defined anywhere. We are getting a name error. Same name error getting handled through except. Same name error getting handled through except. We are not getting print 3. We are getting remaining all. Except as MSG. Just to print the MSG. Except is universal. It can handle any type of error. If you want to print something about the error, receive that as with any identifier. Here MSG is an identifier. Except as MSG. It is one of the identifier. Except as MSG. So please observe, while assigning except, to a particular error, while assigning a except to a particular error, then only as is allowed. Observe this point. Now this except is global. For any type of error, for any type of error, for any type of error, this except. It is not for a particular error. Whenever you are assigning to a particular error, then as is allowed. Remember. So test 19 is a syntax error. Test 19 is a syntax error. It is not assigning to a particular error. It is a universal. You can just check it out 20. Name error as MSG. You can see the clear difference between 19 and 20. In the 19, we are not specifying to which error. In the 20, we are specifying which error. In the 20, we are specifying to which error. In the 20, we are specifying which error. So please go through once again 19 and 20. 19 is a syntax error. Without specifying a particular error, we mentioned as. As is for specifying a particular error. We are not specifying particular error type, and we are using as. It is a syntax error. In case of 20, name error as MSG. Remember, this whole except is responsible to handle only name error, not the index error, not the zero division error. Earlier, except was a universal. It was handling any type of error. It was handling any type of error. But here, we are assigning to only one particular class. It will be handling only name error. At line number 4, you are getting a name error. At line number 4, you are getting a name error. Remember, just accept, when it's a universal, it can handle any type of error. Then, except space, name of the class as identifier. Name of the class as identifier. Then it is only for a particular exception. It is only for a particular exception. It is only for a particular exception. You are printing MSG, the except begin. You can see except begin. Name I is not defined. Come to the next one. There are different ways of producing error message. So in the previous program, we kept the MSG. In this program, ERR. Printing straight away, printing class, printing name of the class, then printing type. Name error as one identifier. Print that identifier straight away. Print the class, print the name of the class, print the type of the class. It is only for handling name error. It is only for handling name error. It is only for handling name error. Only for handling name error. Handling name error. You can see name error message, then class name error, then only class name, then type. Come to the next one. Name error as obj. Name error as obj. In a single line, we are printing all the information. Depending on your requirement, you can print just obj, or you can print obj class, or we can print obj class name, or type of obj. Name error as obj. Name error as obj. Name error as obj. It's straightforward. printing in the same line. Come to the next one. Enclosing in the bracket. It is absolutely possible. Please check it out. Error class name enclosing inside a bracket. Error class name enclosing inside a bracket. Error class name enclosing inside a bracket. Inside a bracket. It's mainly to incorporate multiple error objects. Brackets are allowed. As of now, except is only for name error. Except is only for name error. You can assign one except to multiple error objects. One except to multiple error objects. Please observe whether this is perfect syntax or not. As it should be outside a bracket. As it should be outside a bracket. Bracket is only for specifying multiple error objects. As is only for specifying multiple error objects. So this is not correct. As it should not be inside a bracket. Let us see the next one. We didn't provide any message. We didn't provide any identifier. We are allocating except to name error. We are allocating except to name error. But we are not receiving name error into the any variable. No variable. That is why in the body of the except we are not using any information about the name error. Remember, just to name error without a message. Check it out whether it is possible or not. We are not providing reference to the name error. We are not providing reference to the name error. If there is no reference to the name error, you cannot use in the except body. Yes, we are not using. Please observe. Except space class name. If you are not handling any of the class information, you don't require as keyword. You don't require as keyword. We are not using as keyword. We are not using any error. No as keyword, no error. Let's read 26. There is only one error object. Sorry. There is only one error. What is the need of bracket? Bracket is very optional because of only one. It is assigning to only name error, not for more than one. That is why bracket is optional. We are not looking for printing anything about the name error. That is why as identifier is optional. As identifier is optional. So you need to specify class name. After class name only, if you wanted as after class name only, if you really wanted, you can provide as. Test 26 running very successfully. Come to the next one. I already told name error means except is responsible to handle only name error. Only name error, not the index error, not the zero division error, not the value error. So here at line number 4, we are getting a zero division error. But except is allocated only to name error. 10 by 0, 10 by 0, zero division error. 10 by 0 is a zero division error, except is name error. "27. Because of zero division error not handled, flow terminated. Even though there is a perfect try and except. Unfortunately, except is not suitable to the error whichever rising in the body of the try. Except is not suitable to the error whichever rising in the body of the try. Inside a try, whatever zero division error is rising, that is not getting handled through name error. So incompatible. Now except is only for zero division error. Except is only for zero division error. Except is only for zero division error. This will be running successfully, reaching flow to the bottom. Reaching the flow till to the bottom. Come to the next one. Again zero division error, but unfortunately you are getting index error at line number 5. At line number 5. At line number 5. At line number 5, zero division error. Sorry, at line number 5, index error. At line number 5, index error. Index error cannot be handled through zero division error. Index error cannot be handled through zero division error. Now there is an index error. It is absolutely possible. It will be getting handled. So please observe multiple ways of using except. If you use except alone, it is a universal. So if you wanted, you can use except index error. This is only for index error. It cannot be for zero division error or name error. So if you want to print the message, please observe there is a value error and you want to print the message, you can choose any identifier as ERR. You can specify inside a bracket. Bracket is mainly mandatory if multiple exceptions are there. Value error, absolutely possible. As ERR or MSG, absolutely possible. If you are keeping as MSG inside a bracket, you'll get an error. The last one giving an error. So please observe. So all these statements so this first one is correct. Why do you require this one? Come on. In order to assign same except block to any type of error object, use except without specifying any class name. Several examples we have seen through except. Then the second one, it is also a correct, but it is used only for one error. That is index type of error. Assigning except only to one type of error object. Then the third one also correct. So here, assigning to one error, that error information we can able to read through ERR. Error information we can able to read in the except body through ERR. This ERR is an identifier. This is also correct. Even though single error, come on. Even though single error, you can enclose inside a bracket. Please observe. Then, while enclosing inside a bracket, if you really wanted, you can go for as message in order to print error information. This is also correct. The last one is not correct. Last one is not correct. Why? Because, come on, as MSG is in the bracket, as MSG should be in outside a bracket. Come to the 31. Except is responsible to handle multiple errors, multiple specified errors. Any number of errors can be specified. Any number of specified errors. Any number of specified errors. Any number of specified errors. Index error, zero division error. Index error, zero division error. Now in throughout the try body, if index error is there anywhere or zero division error is there anywhere, both can be handled. Any one of these two can be handled. You can see. Now we got the index error. We got the index error. Because of that, it went into the except, then print 4. In the same type of example, zero division error. Here brackets are mandatory because of multiple errors. Except is allocating to multiple specified errors. Multiple specified errors. Now, because of zero division error, going to the except. Because of zero division error, going to the except. Executing from here. Come to the next one. As ARR very much required, if at all multiple specified exceptions, which exception is coming, that we can print through as ERR. Remember, if multiple specified exceptions are there, multiple specified error classes are there. If multiple specified error classes are there, if multiple specified error classes are there, Multiple specified error classes are there. If multiple specified error classes, value error, zero division error, then as error, which error is rising? Now in this program, zero division error is rising. Okay. So we are reading the input. If input doesn't have any alphabets, the statement will execute. If input is a 9, the statement will give an error. There are two abnormal condition statements based on the given input. There are two abnormal condition statements. There are two abnormal condition statements based on the given input. If input containing any alphabets, abnormal condition, that is value error. If input is only 9, then zero division error. Both we are able to handle. Let us run. 33. I'm just providing input as ABC. We are getting a value error, executing except. Let us give input as a 9. We are getting zero division error. In the except body, we are printing name of the class, name of the error class. Even though except is allocated, except is allocated to multiple specified error classes. Which error is rising, that can be, we can print it through as message, as error. This already we have seen, error dot class dot name. Come to the next one. Value error, zero division error. No brackets available here. While keeping multiple errors, we are not keeping a bracket. Now check it out whether bracket is optional or not. We are keeping multiple errors, but we are not keeping a bracket. So whenever multiple errors are there, that errors should be enclosed inside a bracket. Otherwise, getting an error at comma, unable to recognize what is this comma. Whenever you provide, come on, multiple error objects, If multiple error objects, then try to provide a bracket. Otherwise, you will be getting a syntax error. Now value error, comma, zero division error. There is no identifier to receive error object. In both the scenarios, you'll get only from error. Syntactically correct, but you are not getting exact information on which error is rising. We are not printing error class name. We are not printing error class name. Syntactically correct. Not getting the exact information on which error we are raising. Sorry. Let's give an input as ABC. We supposed to get value error. We got only from error. Let's enter 9. We supposed to get 0 division error. We are getting just 2 from error. As error message, as identifier is very much recommended whenever multiple specified classes are providing to same exception. For the same except if multiple if multiple specified error classes, then as identifier is very much recommended. As identifier is there, if at all as identifier is there, you can easily identify which error is coming. This as message should not be in the bracket. It's already we have seen. As message should not be inside a bracket. It should be outside a bracket. Bracket is only for enclosing multiple specified error classes. Bracket is only for specifying multiple error classes. Bracket is only for multiple specified classes in the bracket. You will be getting an error. Come to the next one. One try with multiple except. Absolutely possible. A try with multiple except. Instead of providing same except to multiple errors, you can provide multiple excepts to different error classes. Multiple except to different error classes. Multiple except to different error classes. Multiple except to different exception classes. It's purely based on your requirement. If you want to produce a common except message for all different error classes, then keep one single except. If you want a different message, different implementation, go for different except blocks. Different except blocks are very much recommended. You will be having a freedom of providing except a specific message. Providing multiple except blocks. One block for one error class. Another block for another error class is very much recommended because of you can provide except a specific message. Enter a number, I'm entering ABC. Enter a number, I'm entering a 9. Now you can provide value error specific message, 0 division error message. Value error specific message, 0 division error message. Come to the next one. So what's the difference between previous and current? Only interchanging the except order. You can go for any order. You can go for any order. You won't get both the excepts. You won't get both the excepts. Remember, in any of the execution, maximum one except only executing. Maximum one except only executing in any of the execution. In any of the execution, maximum one except. Maximum one except. In any execution, maximum one except. What is the meaning of maximum one? It can be 0 or it can be 1. Let us consider I'm rerunning the same program. I'm giving an input number as a 18. No except blocks. Try can have any number of except blocks. Try can have any number of except blocks. In any execution, maximum one except block. It can be 0 or it can be 1. Not more than 1 in the same execution. In the same execution, more than 1 except blocks will not be executing. Come to the next one. So here, 10 by 0 is a 0 division error. 10 by 0 is a 0 division error. Before 0 division error, there is an arithmetic error. We didn't see what is this arithmetic error. Let us run. Let us see whether you will be getting print 3 or print 4. We are getting a 3, we supposed to get a 4. We are getting a 3, we supposed to get a 4. So please remember, so there is a multi-level inheritance among error classes. Multi-level inheritance. So the level is very important while providing an order. You can see there is one image file, Python exception hierarchy. Just to open this, Where is zero division error is there, where is arithmetic error. This is the base exception, then exception, arithmetic error, zero division error. If any superclass is available, all superclasses can represent in place of subclass. All superclasses can represent in place of subclass. Arithmetic error can handle zero division error. Exception can handle arithmetic error. Base exception can handle exception. Please go through this diagram for 5-10 minutes. Become comfortable on understanding. If at all both the classes are there under same hierarchy, under one multi-level, then don't specify first superclass. If you specify first superclass, then subclass object also can be handled superclass. Subclass object also can be handled superclass. Come to the 40. You have a zero division error or and arithmetic error. Whether order is significant or not. Check it out in the diagram whether both are coming under one hierarchy or different hierarchies. Zero division error is here. Please observe. Then arithmetic. Then this one. So in the same hierarchy, but first subclass, then superclass. If any exceptions or errors from the same hierarchy, then order should be first subclass, then superclass. First subclass, then superclass. First subclass, then superclass. First subclass, then superclass. Zero division error, arithmetic error. Zero division error and arithmetic error. Zero division error. Now you will be getting 4, you will not be getting a 3. Let us run this one. If both the classes are under one hierarchy, specify first subclass, then superclass. First subclass, then superclass. Order to be followed while developing multiple excepts with the same hierarchy classes. What is the order to be followed? Subclass to superclass. Subclass to superclass. Go to the first subclass, then superclass. Specify whether, check it out whether syntax error can be handled or not. Syntax error can be handled or not. In the body of the tribe, there is a syntax error without a colon. If is defined without a colon, if is defined without a colon, there is a syntax error. Let us see whether syntax error can be handled or not. Whether a syntax error can be handled or not. In this diagram, check it out. Any syntax error, system exit is there. There is no syntax error specified in this diagram. Just to check it out. It's not executed anything. Come on. We are not getting even print 1. So already I told, if any some errors are there, those errors can stop the entire execution. Very essential syntax errors. Very essential syntax errors. Stopping execution start. Very essential syntax error. You cannot handle syntax error. Syntax errors should not be in order to start the execution. Inside a program, if you are committing any syntax errors, if you are committing any syntax errors, if you are committing any syntax errors, if you commit any syntax errors, then program stopping to execute. Stop. It is not starting the execution. You need to rectify the syntax errors. Come to the next one. So value error, 0 division error. Value error, 0 division error. And the last one, default, you can see. So in the beginning of the section, we have seen default. In the beginning of the section itself, we have seen a default. So it is like a generic. It is allowed to handle any type of exception. If flow is reaching to here, no matter of error type, this will be allowed to execute. No matter of error type, this is allowed to execute. If value error is there, then it is getting handled through first except 0 division error. Second, apart from value and 0 division error, any other error can be handled through except. Any other. This type of syntax is not allowed in any programming languages. But Python is allowing, providing specific excepts and generic except. First two are specific to a particular error. First one specific to value error. Second one specific to 0 division error. Third one, something like a generic to every error. Inside a try body, if you go for ABC as an input, you'll get value error. If you go for input as a 9, you'll get 0 division error. If you go for input as something like other than 9, maybe assume we are going for 20. So you won't get any error in the first two. but you will be getting an error at here. Index error. Index number 20 not available. Index error. Index number 20 not available. Index number 20 not available. Let us see. 42 execution. So in the 42, what we are providing? If you go for input as ABC, if you go for input as a 9, if you go for input as 7, you can see default. So please observe, index number 7 is not available in the list. Index number 7 is not available. Index number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 to 4 only index numbers available. 5 is not available. 6 also not available. 7 also not available. 5, 6, 7 not available. So because of that, you are getting an error. Sorry, you are executing last except. Last except will execute whenever flow is rising other than 0 error and value error. If upper accepts not handling, then only this accept. This always should be the last. Almost like a if else blocks. We are seeing like a else always should be the last. While keeping multiple accepts, few are specific to error and one is generic. The generic one should be as a last one. The generic should be as a last one. The generic should be the last one. That generic should be the last one. Generic should be the last one. That generic one will execute whenever first one, first second one. Before generic, whatever except were there, if those are not executing. Come to the 43. First value error is there, then generic is there, then zero division error. This is a syntax error. This will not be allowed. Generic except always it should be as a last one. Generic except always it should be the last one. Run 43. Default except always should be the last one. Default except always it should be the last one. Default except always it should be the last one. Come to the next one. Finally block. Finally block. After all except, you can provide a finally block. This block will be guaranteed to execute in every flow. This block will be guaranteed to execute in every flow. In order to execute something in every flow, then go for finally block. Finally block is executing in all the flows. After all the excepts, we kept a finally block. I'll go for ABC. You got the finally block. I'll go for 9. You got the finally block. I'll go for 7. You will be getting index error. That is getting handled through default. Again, you got a finally block. I'm going for 2. No error will be rising. No error is rising. Inside a trial, all the statements executed very successfully without any error. Finally block executed. Finally executing in all the flows. No matter error raised or not. Even no matter raised error handled or not. No matter raised error handled or not. No matter raised error handled or not. No matter whether raised error handled or not. Come to the next one. There is no default except here. Whenever index error is rising, that is not getting handled. Flow is terminating because of index error. There is no default except here. If there is no default except, then index error not getting a suitable except index error. Flow will be terminating. While flow is terminating, finally block executing, then it is getting terminated. Finally block is executing, then finally block is executing, then only it is getting terminated. Then only it is getting terminated. Try to run. Enter a number. I'm going for ABC. 5 is executing means flow reach to the last. I'm entering 9. Flow reach to the last. I'm entering 7. Flow terminating because of index error. But finally block executed. Finally block executing. No matter error rising or not. No matter raised error getting handled or not, no matter raised error, getting handled or not. Let's go for 2. Running success. Finally, block is guaranteed to execute in every flow, even though flow is terminating because of unhandled error. After executing finally, then only it will get terminated. Finally, block is guaranteed to execute in all the flows. Now here, there is only value error, no zero division error, no index error. Whenever zero division error is occurring, flow will be terminating. Whenever index error is occurring, flow will be terminating. Zero division error. Let us run this one. Same program, remove one more except. 46. Enter the number ABC. Enter the number 9. There is no zero division error. Flow is terminating, but when? After executing finally. Let me enter 7. You'll get index error, no handler, flow terminating. When? After finally. Finally block executes even though flow is terminating because of unhandled error. Flow is terminating because of unhandled error. Keeping finally in the middle of 2 excepts. Keeping finally in the middle of 2 except blocks. Let's see whether this is syntax error or not. Please observe. You should not keep any excepts after finally. Finally block should be the last block among all except blocks. Finally block should be the last block among all except blocks. Finally block should be the last block among all except blocks. After all except blocks only finally is allowed. After all except blocks only finally is allowed. Finally block is allowed after all except blocks. You cannot keep finally block in the middle of the except blocks. You cannot keep finally block in the middle of except blocks. We are keeping finally and default except. Even default except also should be before finally. Even default except also should be before finally. So try to provide first except with specific classes, then default except, then finally. What is the order to be followed? First except with specific error class names. Except with specific error class names. Then default, then finally. Up to the next one. This is the perfect order. Absolutely perfect order. First specific except, then default except, then finally. Specific except, default except, then finally. It is perfect order running success. 49. Enter a number. I'm going for ABC. Value error is occurring, same is getting handled, flow is becoming a normal, finally block executing, then continuing till to the end. Go for 9. So for 9, we are getting 0 division error. Same is getting handled through default, flow is becoming a normal, finally then continue. Let's go for 7 from default. This is the perfect order. What is the perfect order? The catches, excepts, which are taking specific errors, then default except, then finally. Is it possible to keep finally alone without any except? I want to keep just to finally without any except. I want to keep finally without any except. Let us see whether this is proper syntax or not. In Java, it is very proper. Enter a number. Yes. The syntax is very proper. We can go for try with finally without any except blocks. Without any except blocks, you can go try with finally. What you are achieving while keeping try with finally, you are not achieving exception handling. Why? Because no except block, no except block. If no except block, if no except block, how you can handle? We are not achieving exception handling, but we are achieving to execute something which is mandatory in every flow. If you want to execute something which is mandatory in every flow, which is mandatory in every flow, which is mandatory in every flow, which is mandatory in every flow that you can achieve. So remember, most of the interviewers are asking, is it possible to keep a try without except blocks? Try without except blocks. Absolutely possible, but finally should be in this scenario. So please observe, try except is possible. Try multiple excepts also possible. Try except finally is possible. Try multiple excepts finally possible. Try and finally also possible. We are not achieving exception handling. Without except, how you can handle errors or exceptions. We are not able to handle either error or exception. But we are achieving one mandatory execution. Some mandatory execution, whatever you kept in the finally block. In the finally block, whatever content you are keeping, that content will execute without fail. In the sys, there is a exit function. In the sys, there is a exit function. In the sys, there is a exit function. What this exit function is doing? It is forcibly terminating the program. Exit. It's a built-in function. Through that function, flow is terminating. Through this function, flow is terminating. It's simple. Exit is available in the sys. Sys is one kind of module. It is one kind of Python file. Inside that file, there is an exit. There is one more exit. OS exit. Sorry, OS dot underscore exit. Here you need to supply one number. That number is significant to operating system while terminating. What is the order to be followed while terminating? Operating system will be considering the number for the order purpose to terminate the current flow. To terminate the current flow. Just run 52. We got a just one. it is not going to the accept. It is also not going to finally block. Till now, in all examples, we have seen like finally executing every time. Finally executing every time. Come on. Finally executing every time. But there is a one deviation. Before executing finally, if exit function is executing, if exit function is executing, then it terminates. If exit function is executing, then it will be terminating. If exit function is executing, then it terminates. It is not looking for finally block. Finally block is not executing. Finally block is not executing whenever control executes exit. Please try to open the last 521, 522, 523, 24, 25, 26. After test 5.2, go for 521, 522, 523, 24. What about finally block execution? Finally block execution. If error is occurring before try, whether finally will be executing or not. Before try, there is an error. Flow terminates without bothering about finally. Finally is responsible once control enters inside a try. Observe this point. Once control enters inside a try, then only finally block is responsible to execute. If something happening before try, then finally will not be executing. Let us see 5, 2, 1. We got the zero division error. We are not getting finally block statement. Flow got terminated before try itself. Finally not responsible if something happening before try. Finally block not responsible if something is happening before try block. Before try block, if something happens, then finally not responsible. Open 522, it's very simple. Inside a try, there is a zero division error. Going into the catch, inside a catch, again zero division error. Nobody is there to handle. Flow is terminating. In this scenario, finally will execute or not. Come on. Already control entered into the try. Already control entered into the try. Already control entered into the try. While executing try, there is a zero division error. To handle that zero division error, it is going to the except. In the body of the except, again there is a zero division error that is not getting handled by anybody. Flow supposed to terminate. Yes, it is terminating, but after finally block is executing. The reason is already control entered inside a try, and it is not an exit. If it is an exit, then it won't look for finally, even though control entered inside a try. Even though control enters inside a try, even though control enters inside a try. Finally, block will not be executing if exit is executing. But here no exit. You can see finally block executed. After finally block only, flow is terminating. You are getting very clear information. During handling of the above exception, another exception raised. In the except body, there is a abnormal. In the except body, there is a abnormal. Come to the next one. We defined a stack function test. It is not a part of the class. It is in the main stack itself. There is a test function. What is there in the body of the test function? Try except finally. Try except finally. But in the body of the try, there is a return statement. In the body of the try, there is a return statement. Because of that return statement, flow has to return back to the caller statement of the test, calling statement of the test. But there is a finally. Check it out. Whether finally will be executing or not, whenever return statement executing. Whenever return statement executing, whether finally block is executing or not. Whenever return statement executing, whether finally block is executing or not. So let us run this one first. What you got the message? You got the message even from finally block. Even in Java also the same. If at all return statement executed, if at all return statement executed, come on. It is not returning from there itself. It will return after finally. It will return after finally. You are not getting print 4. Why you are not getting print 4? So it's supposed to return from the try itself. It is executing finally, then returning. So it doesn't require to execute print 4. Doesn't require to execute print 4. Print 4 is not executing. Print 4 is not executing. Print 4 is not executing, but return statement, it's not returning straight away from there. After finally block only return. Even though there is a return statement in the try, control is not returning from there itself. After executing finally only, control is returning. Come to the next one. Almost to say, return statement is there in the except. Return statement is there in the except. Return statement is there in the except. Control going to the except because of zero division error. Even though return statement executes in the except, finally block executes, then only returning. Print 5 will not be executing, but from finally will be executing. Already control entered inside a try. Already control enters inside a try. There is no exit function. There is a return statement in the catch, that is in the except. Return statement in the except. Return statement available in the except. Return statement available in the except. Return 200. It's supposed to return from 200 itself, but after finally only it will be written. You're not getting 5. Please observe the main deviation to the finally is a exit function. The main deviation to the finally block is exit function. Now, return 200 in the try. Return 300 in the finally. Return 500 at the end. Check it out. Return 200, 300, 500. Which value will be returning? Please go through the entire test function once again. There are 3 return statements. In the try body, return 200. In the finally body, return 300. While test method ending, return 500. It's supposed to return 200. There is a finally. It is going to finally executing finally. While executing finally, again there is a return. While executing finally, again there is a return. So while executing that return, 200 will be replacing with 300. 300 will be returning. Remaining statements are skipping. Print 5, return 500 will not be executing. $300 is returning, not the 500. not the 200. I repeat once again, everybody, in the body of the test method, in the body of the test method, return 200 in the try, return 300 in the finally, return 500 in the at the end of the method. While executing return 200, it's supposed to return 200, but there is a finally block. Finally block is guaranteed to execute in every flow except exit. There is no exit. While executing return 200, it's supposed to return back, but there is a finally, going to the finally with the 200 return value. While executing finally, there is once again return with 300. Now 200 getting replaced with the 300, returning from there itself. It won't continue, remaining two statements as already written statement executed. You are getting a 300. You are not getting print 5. You are not getting written 500. This already we have seen. In case of Python, it executes successfully. In case of other programming languages, giving an error. The reason is, after return, we should not keep any statements. After return, we should not keep any statements. But in Python, there is no compiler. There is no compilation step. Straight away running. It is not finding like a major syntax error here. It is successfully executing with return 10. If any other programming language, you will be getting a compile time error stating that print 1 is a unreachable statement. Print 1 is unreachable statement. Print 1 is unreachable statement. But in Python, there is no compiler step, there is no compilation step, and it is not a major syntax. Execution started to execute, and you got only 10. Why? Because returning from 10 itself, print 1 is not executing.